This game is called Star Trek Resurgence. See anything in particular here? Subtitles on, yes please. I accept. Choices. Deep dive into your choices. No. Is this like a movie game? Is this just Walking Dead, Star Trek? I guess we're gonna find out. This is Dramatic Lab's adventure. The realistic events you're about to experience will be shaped by the choices you make. I'm assuming yes. I'm assuming this is just click and play. There's no actual like game. This is like a movie game from Dramatic Labs. So like sit back and enjoy, and hopefully it is kind of a clicky game.
Log, Stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission.
Finally.
And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different.
They're ready for something different.
Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
Change is good.
Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Ryder. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
New blood. Oh no, there's quick time events.
Thanks.
Computer-based.
No problem.
Or controller-based.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Here's a tip. Don't close your eyes. You'd think that would make it easier, but it only makes it worse. Look out the window, pick a star, and just focus on that.
I'll give it a try.
That just meant you'd probably don't want to drive with your eyes closed.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
But at least.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Star Trek Resurgence. I think maybe they actually do have Captain Jean-Luc Picard in this, and now I was like, oh yeah, I'll try this out. In the movie or not, I don't know. Oh, so we actually do move around. I think this is like gonna be like Walking Dead, but Star Trek. We're RP walking. We're RP walking. Use right trigger to interact.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Good mouse and keyboard, but
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy. So, there's that.
Simulations are great for training, but they're not quite the same as the real thing.
That's fair. I guess I'm about to find out.
I'm an expert Call of Duty player, though. That makes me an expert shooter.
Hold it there for a few seconds.
Scan hand. So interactive.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground, so to speak.
The pleasure's mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Commander? I'm the commander. I wish there was a run button. I'm annoyed that there isn't. Oh my god. Oh, wait. Did I just... Oh, we found it.
Good day, Commander.
It's not really it's like a brisk jog button. I don't like that.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
He's a bully.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me.
You hear the Resolute's getting a new first officer?
Someone from the crew got promoted?
No, get this. They're from a different ship.
Oof. Wonder how the crew feel about that.
It makes them look desperate. Is their crew that bad?
Yeah, not a good look.
Not a good look.
You're going to the Resolute too?
Yeah.
Yeah, this probably isn't like the best area to be talking about how you wish you weren't going on somebody's ship.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Ah, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
We're the commander of the Resolute, no?
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It was perfectly fine. No trouble at all.
I'm glad to hear it. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said,
USS
we're very lucky.
Enterprise.
The USS Resurgence. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
It's been 6 months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a new mission will help them move forward. If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time. I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region.
Just
I'll let the captain brief you
explore
on
the
board.
impact of your choices. They're like a oh, there is shooting involved in this game. Stealth. So this game is a game, but it's mostly not a game. Jerry made a good impression. Appreciative of showing empathy in the crew of the Resolute suffered. What about the other guy?
I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
I was grateful for Jazz helpful guidance and never shut up line. I see. I'm confused. Am I now a different character?
Stuck. I got just the thing.
Find the plasma torch. Hyper spanner. Insectus coil. Equiper plasma torch. Ah. This one.
Now, need to melt some corrosion, not just a plasma injector.
This one.
Hyper spanner does almost everything, except what I need right now.
This one.
Don't need to rewire the optical data network. Just need to burn this gunk off.
Well then I don't know. This game's too hard. Poke.
is that.
Lower decks. The sound.
I thought that thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Millie.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
Now.
Hey Diaz, can you give us some help with the transporter?
Use to run. I can't run anymore.
Don't let LT catch you blocking the corridors like this.
We'll clear it up once we finish the delicate work. Good looking out, though.
Junction 34B gives you access to the tubes behind cargo storage all the way to the turbo lift.
Not after the retrofit. Bulkhead cuts it off at Section 2. New computer reroutes.
So then...
I'm thinking we'll have to do the work in that tube. Then take the turbo lift from Section 2 to Section 3.
Well, wait, there's a subfloor crossover around Junction 32E.
What do you have against using the turbo lift?
Nothing, I just like being in the tubes. It's my domain.
Flying safe.
I don't need anything from utilities. Force of habit, I guess.
Nowhere to go. Oh, follow her.
Carter Diaz!
I'm coming. Chill out.
Engineering.
I heard the new EXO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
More
Looks like
contagion
we got here
you.
before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Edsalar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsalar on repeated occasions.
Well, Commander Chovak, isn't it true that if we were almost late, it categorically means that we were not late?
That is correct, Mr. Diaz.
I mean, if anything, Edsalar and I are following the schedule to the letter.
Yes, perhaps I should adjust the schedule accordingly.
So, I don't suppose
Wait,
you
that was
wanted
bad-
us down here to check in before we go off
Was that
duty?
a bad choice? I think it was about cheeky and cavalier when he and us were almost late.
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance.
cheeky.
The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak.
Roger,
All
Roger.
hands on deck.
Oh, what's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out, and the brass know it. so they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
It all comes down to us, Nelly. We're the ones who will get it right.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem alright. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? That's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this...
Miranda felt encouraged with Kara's warm reception, and she first arrived, putting out hope to meet some chemistry between them. Oh.
Quick little spacewalk.
I want to get to some
Here,
actual
let me help you.
gameplay
Thanks.
before we call it for
So
this
what's the
game.
word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
Bryce, how's it going? Good to see
See
you.
you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Souls. I kinda wish there was an auto mode for the easy things. Just let it play like a movie. They're basically just forcing me to have like the most minimalistic interactions with the game.
That view never gets old.
Let's go.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily.
Okay.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Want a hamburger. Replicate me a hamburger.
Just a sip of something.
Tea Rakin Tahino.
Decisions.
I don't know what that is.
Rack the Geno.
I don't know what this is. But we're drinking it.
That sure has a kick.
Just a sip?
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation
Get
from the
lost in
academy.
the sea.
You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible.
Not very good parts, are they?
Burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute.
Chepitan.
Regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained, probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there. Within our grasp.
Right there.
Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship could handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. 2 previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before.
Falling asleep.
You'll never guess where it leads.
Hatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed.
It's mostly because I'm
Where I
tired.
imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details at the rendezvous.
Who is the senior diplomat we're escorting?
That I don't know. Starfleet hasn't said. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Oh. Yeah, alright, I wasn't asleep. I would like to get to some gameplay though. That's not just a movie. Although the voice acting is very well done and the animations are okay. They're decent enough. They're definitely kind of dated. But for the most part, voice acting's nice. Can't run.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
No, the honor's mine.
If anything, the honor is mine.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
You really do know a thing or two about me. I'm glad I could inspire you, but it's important to chart your own path.
Thanks. You can count on it.
Why did the voice acting just change? They changed
And then,
microphones.
of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. Have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
The bridge is yours. I want to shoot something. Sit in your captain chair.
Operations, staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont.
So many things to look at.
Communications. Keeps us in contact internally and with other vessels.
Overall, if you were a Star Trek fan, this would probably be like extraordinarily cool.
The first officer seat. My seat. Right now, though, I need to fill in for Captain Solano.
Begin command.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Make it so.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
Is the Star Trek
The storm is
fleet
getting worse.
stuff
Looks like they turned off the
like
signal.
inspired by
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
another type of fleet thing? Like, is that how like Marines do it, or Navy, or anything? Or is it just like completely
Every
made
time
up?
we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
Yeah, of course I do. Starfleet's an open door. We just have to walk through it. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Calibration tool. I can't mess this up, man. I'm getting tired, chat. I don't know how much longer we can do this. It's because I'm so tired. But at least I can praise the voice acting. Nodes. Tune the nodes. 2 nodes to center circular. Oh. Gosh dang it. That should be it.
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
Well, I'm so glad you said that. Now I know exactly who to turn to when I have questions.
Questions are more Commander Ermont's territory. Captain Solano primarily relies on my knowledge and expertise when he needs answers. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for first officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
That's very kind of you to be concerned about my well-being. But you don't need to trouble yourself on my account. I'll be fine.
Well, I wouldn't say I was concerned, just curious, that's all. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew, and he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
I don't think I could ever replace Commander Sutherland. And it would be a mistake to even try.
Seeing as Captain Solano is on
Neutral.
the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying.
Neutral. Commander Westbrook was left with mixed feelings about Jara's suitability as a new first officer after they first met on the bridge.
It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking claims are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wideband burst of ionic energy, like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities all over the ship.
Estimated time to impact, 2 minutes.
Red alert.
Aye.
Aye, aye. Aye, aye, Captain.
Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact, 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
Shields up.
That's right, which is why we need to send power to our shields.
Bedrosian, get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We've only got one shot.
Understood. On my command.
Make it so.
Heading locked.
Raise shields.
This is it!
All hands, brace for impact.
Dinge.
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
That can blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Nope.
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Alright, I think the next good stopping point we're gonna call it. I'm tired. But overall, the way they're presenting the game or the things are pretty good.
Failsafe override engaged.
Excited
Are you
for
sure? I am registering
Star
some
Trek
crosstalk in the
fan.
bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals
really
so
good.
they don't interfere with each other.
Also, it's not like the gameplay of this game is not its strong suit, because it's just point and click, point to the circle and click the circle, point to the circle, click the circle. You're not figuring anything out, you're just part of the show.
Yes to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Shoot it, yeah. Oh yeah.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
We figured out. Use your phaser to clear a path. Wait, I can't shoot her now? It'd be cool if you could just shoot radiation away. I'm dying.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Suit took most of it. Snuck up on me.
That damaged your suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%. We're almost to the regulator.
Why is she getting hurt by this thing?
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
Now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
I'm doing it.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral. EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovak can...
Just do it. Stop explaining it. Captain's gonna die. She's gonna die.
Get down!
Get down again!
Here's the bridge! We
Double
just lost
the
docking
action.
lane.
debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release this ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working.
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
The docking clamp isn't functioning. We're exploring our
The
options.
option is to detonate the emergency release.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Jara?
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision.
The captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
What is the holdup?
Starbase, stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Yes, Commander.
Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull polarity to free us from the remaining docking clamp. Tether yourself and deactivate your boots on my mark.
Understood.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark!
Ah!
Grab my hand!
Captain, you don't understand. The other character I'm playing as is out there.
Plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
I'm doing the thing. No, I knew it.
I got you. Petty Officer Etzelar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There's an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Etzelar there to access the interior.
Okay.
Roger that. Go in there now.
Dog.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
You go first.
What?
No.
Let me save your neck this time.
No, just get in.
No time to fight me on this. Get in there.
No.
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that.
Just get in. Ditch.
We made it.
They're safe. Bringing the Sith fully online.
Do it.
The price of duty. They said duty. This is not a good stopping point.
Nilly.
I don't feel like this game
good.
has particular
Help me
stopping
with him.
points. I'm buying this game.
Let's get this off.
Sweet scar.
Medical. Got one wounded at my location. Carter.
Nice face
You don't look so
tattoo.
good.
Oh, rude. We were gonna go on a date.
You gotta be more careful. I just got here. I'm not ready to see you two get blown to space dust just yet. Now let's get you down to sick bay.
His face just suddenly, as soon as we started moving.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermont?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if...
Captain Serrano was furious that Jara defied his orders and did not blow the bolts on the docking clamps as instructed to do so. Appreciate Jara's decision of the moment. This kind of just reviews how everybody feels about everybody.
If we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me. You disobeyed my orders. Well?
I shouldn't have done that.
I shouldn't have gone against your orders, sir.
You can't unring that bell. Especially when you do it, not just in front of the bridge crew, but while I was in front of the Starbase staff. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship?
Nah, I should have.
From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
You didn't have the facts.
Captain, I told you I'd be honest, so here it is. Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order, but you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to you did what you had to. That'll have to be good enough for me.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.
Hotari? I never owned a Atari. Kinda wholesome. All I ask is a tall ship. As soon as we get player control, I'm done. Like, overall, this is a good, like, watching game, I think. It's pretty faithful to the series, not that I've watched it very many times.
We've got our full complement on board.
Every time I've watched Star Trek, it was
right now.
on accident,
The start of a new
and there was
mission
nothing
is
else on
always
TV.
full of possibility.
Back in the day when you would actually just browse shows.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sit. Sit, everyone.
Sit, boy, sit.
You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Disengage docking clamps.
Docking clamps released.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
To infinity and beyond.
That should do it. Set a course for the Hotari system. Prepare to go to Warp 8.
Aye, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me?
Do it. Engage. Make way. Make way.
Helm. Make way.
Engage. I think it should have went engage, no? That's... I want to make it so. Make it so.
Make way.
It's a sailing term.
I know that.
Is it? I don't know.
Easy. Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look so good.
Probably need my drugs monitoring.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside.
You'd think I'd have like an EpiPen on me or something.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on him, but he'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself.
You just
Your iridium
lock
levels
it
got
off.
dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
Rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the Duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
I know what it means. And I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
That's exactly right. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career. Breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on. The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets, the more risk he'll be willing to take.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen. And we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship. And everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
Then, my work here is done.
What is Duridium? Do I basically have diabetes?
Lieutenant Bedrosian.
I came to see if you were okay. We were all pretty worried on the bridge. No one knew what was happening.
I'm feeling much better. Thank you. It's just part of who I am.
You don't have to explain to me. I understand. I'm just glad you're okay. You trusted me earlier with the shields, and I appreciated that. I want you to know that I have your back.
Thank you.
Now, Carter, the emissions that gave you that burn are quite unusual, like everything else that goes with this storm.
Do I have superpowers now?
That's the combination of hyronolin and lectrazine to counter the radiation effects. That should help speed your healing.
But superpowers. Do I have superpowers?
She's come by a couple of times to see you already. Be brief.
Ho ho ho!
It's good to see you awake again. I was starting to get worried. Not that you aren't in good hands with Dr. Duval. You did take one hell of a shot, though.
Ah, come on, you know you can't get rid of me that easy.
Don't push me, Diaz. You do not want to see me try.
No, nope. I am not getting on your bad side.
I am a formidable enemy.
I have superpowers, you know.
But since it's just us right now, I had a chance to think about this while I was away. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse, leaving it unsaid.
Now, this is just a guess, but you like me. Is that what this is?
How'd you know? Must have been pretty obvious. Which is funny, because kinda came out of nowhere for me, at first.
I was hoping.
Well, you know, I was hoping.
I guess that makes this a little easier to say. We've been really good friends for a long time. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
Giggity. There's no response for giggity.
Carter?
You don't have to explain it. I feel the same way. There is something between us.
So,
These whole 5 minutes that I've known you.
Something is. If it's there for you, and it's there for me, why not give it a try?
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me?
Thanks
I
to
just said
them.
yes.
I wanted to be sure I heard that right.
Sorry to interrupt, but the patient needs to rest if he wants to get back to his old self.
But giggity.
I'll see you again soon.
She's like way taller than me. Which I don't mind. Starflirt. Cast adrift. When do I get control of my character again so I can
Rendezvous
stop?
point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Again, this is really well done, dialogue and everything.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
There's just no game.
Shield integrity holding.
We can take it.
We are at the correct
This
coordinates
is
to meet
like
the
to
shuttle.
choose your own adventure book
Commander Rydeck,
with some
find us our diplomat. if you
buttons you are told to
Aye,
press.
Let's reduce the
Someone
noise.
say snoo
Filter out
snoo.
environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Speed me right round, baby, right round. Have to do this faster. What's going on? Left stick. This thing's broken. How fast do you want me to do this? Also, why counterclockwise of all wises to do? I think this is broken. It's not letting me do anything. Oh, we have to do it at a certain pace. It's not just do it fast. Nice
I've
novel
located
game.
the shuttle.
Yeah.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering.
Whee!
Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
It won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I'm sure.
They have superpowers.
Come on, Diaz.
Also, chicks dig scars. I just got a
First
girlfriend.
thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
What? Stabilize. Make it so.
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Use a tractor to do the thing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I did it. I beat the game. As I'll try it sometime. Yeah, if you like it. If you like Star Trek, it would be even better for you.
There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
Shuttle world record percent.
Commander Rydeck.
It's universe record. We're in space.
On it.
Shield the shuttle from the asteroid? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following what they tell me to put. I'm not figuring anything out.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17. 200 meters on an intercept course.
Least galaxy record. Yeah. Ow!
Got it.
Yeah, oh, that was on purpose.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Check the beam. Come. Clap, we did it. Chat. Okay, slow down, stop it. Stop, there you go. Clappa.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Where are the red shirts at? Aren't they supposed to be like the ones that die?
Terra firma, so to speak.
That's a guy. I know that guy. Spook. Ambassador Spook. Spock.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Where's Captain Jean-Luc Picard? Okay, welcome aboard. Sorry for the rough landing. Welcome aboard.
Well, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz, sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon, if I may say so.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad we could get you here in one piece.
Indeed. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hutari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been
Where's
pretty
Xavier?
intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short reversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz. Thank you.
Ambassador Spock.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Pity, officer. Pity. What a pity. A provocation to war. Pretty Officer Diaz. Ooh.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff.
I seen you on that show.
It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. 2 formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Ilidia and Hotari. The Ilidians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago.
Hotari?
This is Tau.
I've never owned a Hotari.
It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Ilidians have shared a mining operation there. The Ilidians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Ilidians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that
storm
question may be the key to a new, lasting peace.
One
That I hope we can uncover during these negotiations. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Ilidian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Ilidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor.
Just shoot him.
In the past, the Federation has relied on the Ilidians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Ilidian dilithium trade, Captain
I wasn't paying
Solara
attention.
must take every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole
I want to redo. I suppose
thing
he can't.
unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Ilidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
It's a perfect storm.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Ilidians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own.
I don't think it actually matters too much.
So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander
Like,
Westbrook,
who likes
I want
it,
you
who
to
doesn't?
leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
Thank you. Can I get your autograph?
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Also, how come you don't do the hand thing? Isn't this your hand thing?
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case.
I'm perfectly happy to work outside the lines.
And by extension, you will be doing your duty, Commander.
Just not too far outside the lines. Well, I hope
What
Commander
the-
Rydek will
why
have
was
more
that
luck finding out what really
neutral?
happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Then we finally at like a chapter end. Navigational complexities.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
Commander Chovak, is there anything you do enjoy?
I take pleasure in the satisfaction of a job well done. I suggest you try it sometime. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
Was that a joke?
No, couldn't have been. It seems like he's warming up to us.
He's mad.
Yeah.
He didn't like that.
Even Chovak.
What do you? Hold on. Look, he did not approve of Jar's unwillingness to follow protocol when defying Captain Solano's orders. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Lieutenant Chovak did not care for Carr's cheeky attitude when asked about the ambassador's
Has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking. You did the smart thing.
You should have just gone, and now my face wouldn't have gotten hurt.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for. But first, we have work to do.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
For the love of God, give me a save point. This keyboard sucks.
So...
Nothing on that thing works.
I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or
It's me.
just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up.
She coming on to me.
The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Data recorder. Diagnostic. Circuit inspector. Something else. See what I mean, though? Like, you can't make a mistake in this game. You're just playing along with the do point A, point B things. Which, for what it isn't bad.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Warp field.
Warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation. Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
Do we actually have control all of a sudden? Your tricorder can record and analyze data. Equip your holocauls. Scan. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Uh-oh. What the? I didn't do that. Alright, the game wants me to stop too. Aww. How far back is this? Can I skip? Mother father. Alright, no. The game wants us to stop too. Main menu. You know what? That's probably what happened. I pushed the main menu button on accident, even though it was explaining something to me, which is weird. Why would the game itself be like, here's a tutorial! Have you read it? Okay, or go back to the main menu. And I was just like, I pushed a button because I thought it was whatever. And this is a good game. This is a good watching game. So if you guys like Star Trek, even better, it'll be way more enjoyable. I kind of want to come back to this because it's all flowing really well, and that's something that a lot of story games kind of feel awkward sometimes. You can make a choice and it works, but really awkwardly sometimes. And this game, everything seems to just flow really well into each other, no matter what choices you do. You're not like all of a sudden like thrown, I don't know. And also they speak really eloquently, so it's like relatable and understandable, and you're doing the choices yourself, so you're kind of understanding most of the things going on. I do get a little bit lost with some of the Star Trek speak, because I'm not that well versed in it, but for the most part, this is interesting. Also, you can check out your choices, deep dive into your choices. I don't know what this does, but cool. Very cool. We did it. We beat the game.